Welcome to the Jaico Podcast. And today we're talking about a book called Time Masters. It's by Jan Yager. You've probably heard about her previous book called How to Finish Everything That You Start. And this is the book for discussion today. So I'll start with Rucha. What are your thoughts? You got some time to read the book, and what are your thoughts firstly?
I did read the book. The first thing that stood out to me were these really cool exercises and quizzes that there are. So, if you do pick up this copy, and I hope you do, definitely give yourself some time to go through the exercises. And there's also like this time personality quiz that you take to understand what kind of a planner you are. Basically, what's your productivity personality. So that's a very interesting take. But there are several other important aspects of this book as well, such as prioritizing and the different techniques you can use to prioritize, how to leverage technology that is available to you. So it's just a book that's just jam packed with a lot of productivity advice and tidbits.
Yeah, specifically the personality bit that she talked about, that's really interesting because
Yeah.
everybody, we just think productivity or saving time or even time management is like a cookie cutter kind of thing where one thing just applies to
Fits
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's never one size fits all. And I think the author makes sure that we know what our productive personality is through the quiz.
Yeah.
So I think that part really, really stands out. What about you, Greg?
And also there's a breakdown of like knowledge and information. How do you manage time? Like few exercises, few principles. So all in all, she's really breaking it down for you. And this way is how you manage time. You stress also less because you're getting more things done.
What's your favorite principle out of these?
I like the to do and the done list.
Okay.
So in this, basically, she's saying you make a to-do list and you make a done list. In that, once you've done with the task, you put it on the done list. That way you get a sense of satisfaction that you've actually completed something. And then you can put more stuff on whichever list you feel is appropriate. So it makes you calm basically.
Right, because what I understand from that, the to-do list and done list at least, is that it doesn't aim for you guys to, just take the logical side into consideration, but it's also about how you feel emotionally after completing a task. And when you put a
Yeah.
task on the done list, you emotionally probably feel really satisfied.
Yeah.
At least for me, that's what works.
Yeah, it's a fun visualization as well to have two lists and just have everything migrate one by one into
Yeah.
the done list. So you see your to-do list emptying out. So that's a great feeling.
Right.
When the done list is full, I'm like really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely the best, especially if you guys probably heard about this principle called the Pareto principle. I mean,
Right,
it's out there, everybody knows about it, but Jan Yager specifically puts a very nice twist on it. She talks about how, we've heard about the 80-20. For those of you who don't know, the 80-20 rule is basically doing the 20% of the most important tasks that have 80% of the effect on your work, right? So the 80% of the tasks give you 20% of the results and vice versa. So what Jan Yager says is, in spite of this being the principle that's worldwide and everybody knows, she integrates it into these abbreviations through the book called TIMEMASTERS.
Yeah.
She starts each principle with one thing in the index. And I think you guys will, it's a bit complicated to understand when I'm explaining it. But when you do get the book, I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
and
it's easy to follow.
and I think in our daily lives, we've kind of used principles like these.
Yeah.
And I would like to know from you guys, which principles from here have you used? And it's probably made your life better. It's impossible that it wouldn't. So
Right. For me, it's the Eisenhower matrix. My issue always is that there are way too many things to do all at once. So that helps me categorize everything in terms of
and everything's a priority.
Everything feels like a priority until and unless you've organized it, so you know what needs to be done now, what needs to be scheduled, what can be put on the back burner, what can be delegated. So that is something that I really like, and I think it also helps you match the Pareto principle with Eisenhower matrix, because once you organize it through the matrix, you realize what actually counts for the 20%.
Yeah, without giving too much away, could you explain
Yeah.
to the audience what the Eisenhower principle is?
Okay, so this is an exercise that you can do yourself. You can also find reference images online, but you basically take a sheet of paper, divide it up into quadrants, and label them as important, not important, urgent and not urgent. So then that gives you 4 sections, right? Something that is important but not urgent, something that is not important, not urgent, right? So in all of those quadrants, you identify which task goes where. So let's say, for example, you add something in the quadrant that is labeled not important, not urgent. That's something that you don't need to do right now. It's not really urgent. It's something that can be on the back burner. However, stuff on your quadrant like the important but not urgent, uh, urgent and also important, that's stuff that really requires your attention right now, and this clearly helps you visualize and understand what your priorities are.
Yeah, that's interesting, especially because you not just using the Eisenhower principle in your work, but
Yeah.
also for your daily life,
Daily life,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Because most of these things, like you probably have a bill to pay, like a credit card bill that you still have to pay. Right now, it's not urgent. You have to pay it at the end of the month, but it is important. So you
Yeah.
put it in the not urgent but
But
important
important,
category,
yeah.
and that quadrant has helped me also immensely, right? What about you, Greg? What one principle that you've used in your work that has superseded your
So I don't know if this is a principle or not, but I do it unintentionally. So I do basically 20 minutes of hardcore work, and then I give myself a reward at the end. So basically 5 minutes I take a break, and then I do the same thing again. I do 25 minutes of hardcore work and then get a reward at the end. So I don't know what the principle is called, but I keep on doing that.
I think it's called
The
I think
Pomodoro.
Pomodoro.
Pomodoro,
Right? Yeah, yeah. It's called the Pomodoro principle.
Yeah, so I keep unintentionally I keep doing that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's interesting because Pomodoro. What do you think Pomodoro exactly does psychologically for us?
So
For
when
you
you
specifically.
when you introduce a reward, you have something to look forward to.
Mhm.
Basically, if I'm doing 1 hour of tedious work and I have no reward at the end, I
Mhm.
definitely don't want to do any work at all.
Mhm.
So because of that reward, I am more motivated.
So you're a very reward based guy.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a big reward. It can be at the end, I will have chocolate.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll do my work. At the end, I'll have a chocolate. And then I'll do my work again and I can have something else at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And I think Time Master specifically is that kind of book that everyone can benefit from,
Yeah.
not just the people who are just starting out their careers, especially people like us
Yeah.
who are just starting out their careers and are learning to manage time, but people who are time management gurus have also mentioned that they've learned a lot from this book. So
Yeah.
I think anyone can pick it up.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, do you follow the principles and techniques that we've mentioned so far, or do you do anything different?
To me, I think it's a mixture of everything because I love the to-do list. I've not done the done list yet, but I will definitely do that. Besides that, I do everything not supposedly in an Eisenhower matrix, but I do prioritize stuff using AI, which is a huge component in this book as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right? So what I do, instead of manually creating an Eisenhower matrix, I will ask AI to go through my emails for the week, let's say over the weekend. This is an active practice that I do,
Yeah.
where I ask AI every Monday before I get into work to go through my emails that have come in from Friday since I left work until Monday morning, and then prioritize everything based off of context, what's important, what's urgent, and what is not urgent, not important that I can delegate. Right? So I use AI a lot, and that's what Jan Yager also talks about in this book, right? She talks about AI or machines being an extension of you. Of course, they don't take everything that you can do and just do it, but they be this helpful assistant or a helpful extension
something
of you.
that, yeah. So I know that you two love tech a lot.
Mhm.
So what, according to you, what gadgets, what tech do you think boosts your productivity? Any favorites?
I use ChatGPT. So basically, if I have some event or something, I've given it a command saying, remind me about this event and I have to attend this event, the time, date, and place. So even if I forget, it pops up and say you have to do this like 1 hour before, 2 hours before. So yeah, that's very helpful.
That's interesting because I've never heard of someone using ChatGPT actively as a reminder, but usually people use it for emails, which I have as well. But what do you think is the difference between using a general reminder versus a ChatGPT for reminder?
General reminders, I don't feel I'm talking to an AI. ChatGPT has that mystery about it. I am talking to an AI.
Okay, interesting. Because ChatGPT does have these minor functions, like Greg said, the one that he uses that not a lot of people use, and it's interesting if you can really while getting an email draft, you can also say, okay, by the way, this thing is there in this email. You can remind me tomorrow about it. So that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Right. Personally, I use a myriad of tools. I use a lot of them. ChatGPT, of course, there is for comprehension, Perplexity for research, and Claude specifically for code, or a little bit for design as well, right?
Gemini.
Because Claude is really good for design. ChatGPT images too has just come out, so that is great for any kind of infographic or visualization. Before we actually make it, like of course, when we do a lot of creatives in our social media stuff, we want to first visualize and see if the idea would look good. So we describe it to ChatGPT the best we can and look at a first draft. Of course, that's not the final output, and it never should be. But it always has to be, there always has to be a first draft that you get from 0 to 1 in about 30 to 40 seconds. Yeah. So these are what I use specifically. But for coming from someone who is not a tech enthusiast, what's your thoughts on AI and what effect it can have on time management? And have you seen any effect on your life?
That's an interesting question. I do think that AI can help you in terms of productivity and time management, but only to a certain extent, right? You have to make sure that you put in the effort to do things. We're in a very good place where AI can do a lot of things for us. So the only thing that remains on our end is to just get stuff done. There's a lot that AI can do in that regard. You mentioned emails. I think it's also integrated into calendars now. We all use it for writing in a lot of sense. I had major productivity success with the AI function in Notion because I use Notion extensively in work and outside as well. It just helped me create like this big database tracker within minutes, and that just helped me stay on top of things really, really well.
Amazing, because I've never used Notion, but any tips for people at home that want to try Notion for the first time?
Yes, I would say start simple. It can feel a little complicated, but definitely use the Notion AI to your advantage. That would help.
Amazing. I think you guys should start using Notion, and better yet, with Notion, if you're not a tech enthusiast, you can always use the very classic pen and paper.
Yeah.
A to-do list, a to-done list. I think we've given you more than enough of tools that you can experiment with. And if you haven't yet, there are so many rules in here and so many tools in here that you can just use to scale up your productivity to the next level. And I hope you guys will really, really like this book. Funny thing, do let us know. We really, really look forward to messages on Instagram and comments on YouTube as well. So whenever you get the chance, whenever you read the book, even if you don't, and if you want a podcast on another book that we have, feel free to let us know. We're all yours. All right. So thank you so much. This was an amazing conversation and with an amazing book. So go get your copy now, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.